Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into a story that's, frankly, pretty inspiring. It's about Dr. Russell Ledet. His path really challenges a lot of expectations. Our sources are some really powerful excerpts titled From Guard to Doctor, Russell Ledet's Inspiring Journey. Hmm. And our mission, well, it's to pull out those key insights, those nuggets of wisdom from his life, things that really shine a light on determination, resilience, and something really important, representation.
Okay, let's unpack this. The thing that, grabs you right away is this transition. Dr. Ledet went from being a hospital security guard to a practicing doctor
Yeah.
and an activist. I mean, it almost sounds like fiction.
Right. It's an incredible arc. And to really get it, you have to look at where he started. Like Charles, Louisiana, we're talking about significant financial challenges, not a lot of obvious opportunities. And for a young black man in the American South at that time, well, there were systemic barriers too, big ones. But even then, you could apparently see this willpower in him, a kind of quiet refusal to just accept limitations. You can almost picture it, can't you? Growing up paycheck to paycheck, knowing you're smart, but maybe people underestimate you, and having this ambition, this feeling you want more, but just not seeing the how. You talked about not knowing how to reach higher, you know?
Mm-hmm. That feeling of wanting more but lacking a clear map, that's often the catalyst, isn't it? For him, the big decision after high school was enlisting the U.S. Navy.
Okay.
And the Navy, it definitely provided some key things. Discipline, sure. Income, structure, maturity, probably.
Right. Things he maybe needed then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, and this is insightful, it didn't quite fulfill that deeper thing. His interest in science, this desire to really help people medically.
So it was a step, but not the final destination.
Precisely. A valuable stepping stone, though.
So after the Navy, where did he land?
Well, this is where it shifts again. He ends up as a security guard
Okay.
at Baton Rouge General Hospital. So still in the uniform, but a very different one.
Wow. So picture that. He's walking the hospital halls day in, day out, seeing the doctors, the nurses, the whole medical world.
Yeah.
And inside, maybe thinking, that's where I belong. I want that white coat. Not just, guarding the people who wear them.
Right. And this is where his proactive side really kicks in.
Okay. How so?
He didn't just watch. He started asking questions.
Really? Of the doctors?
Yeah. He'd approach them, respectfully, asking about their work, how they got there.
That takes some guts.
It does. And, probably many were busy, maybe brushed him off.
Sure, you can imagine.
But the key thing is, a few did stop.
Mm-hmm.
They talked to him. And those few conversations, however brief, that was it. That was the spark.
The validation he needed. Proof it wasn't just a crazy dream.
Exactly. It showed him it was actually possible, tangible. These people did it. Maybe he could too.
Wow. The impact of just a few people taking a moment.
It's huge, isn't it? Especially when you're facing those invisible walls, those systemic things, a little bit of belief, a bit of mentorship. It can just crumble those psychological barriers.
Yeah.
It made the dream feel less abstract, more concrete, just by someone treating his questions seriously.
It really says something about just being open, being kind, not always grand gestures. Right?
Absolutely. Just genuine engagement.
So, okay, fueled by that, he makes the leap back to school.
Yes. He enrolls at Southern University.
An HBCU in Louisiana.
Right. Historically black college and university. Hugely important institutions, providing pathways and cultural anchors.
And he wasn't just like scraping by. He was dedicated.
Oh, incredibly. Juggling school, family life.
Right, because I think he had family by then.
Yes. That's a key part, too. And he excelled, earned dual degrees, biology and chemistry.
Wow. Dual degrees. That's intense.
Very. But he didn't stop there.
No. What was next?
His ambition just kept, pushing. He applied for a PhD program.
A PhD?
Yep, in molecular oncology at NYU.
NYU. That's a top-tier program.
One of the best.
Yeah.
So he's deep in cancer research now, the real nitty-gritty science.
Okay, hold on. This path is interesting.
Right.
He gets a PhD before even thinking about medical school.
Exactly. That's what's fascinating here. It's not the typical route. A lot of people go straight for the MD, or maybe do an MD-PhD combined, or a PhD after.
So what does that tell you? That deep dive into research first?
Well, I mean, it suggests this profound drive to understand the why, the fundamental science behind disease, not just how to treat it.
A real hunger for knowledge.
Yeah. And probably, like you said earlier, it gave him a really strong foundation in critical thinking, problem solving.
Skills that would definitely help in med school.
Absolutely. So armed with this PhD, then he applies and gets into Tulane University School of Medicine.
back in Louisiana, New Orleans.
Right. And by now, he's definitely juggling fatherhood, the intense demands of med school, plus this growing sense of community responsibility.
Okay. And it's during his time at Tulane that this iconic moment happens, right? The photo.
Yes, that photo. It's incredibly powerful.
Describe it for us.
It's Russell and a group of his black classmates from Tulane Med.
Okay.
And they're standing, looking strong, determined, all wearing their white coats.
Right. The symbol of becoming doctors.
Exactly. But it's where they took the photo that gives it such weight. They're standing in front of the old slave cabins at Whitney Plantation.
Wow. Whitney Plantation. A place with such a heavy history of enslavement.
Precisely. So the symbolism is just immense.
Yeah, I could feel that.
It's this visual statement about history, about progress, about resilience. Look how far we've come. Look where we are now.
From ancestors forced to labor on that very land to their descendants standing there as future doctors.
It's profoundly moving. It speaks to reclaiming space, turning trauma into fuel for the future, and it just exploded online, went viral globally.
Why do you think it resonated so deeply with so many people?
Well, I think it tapped into universal themes, overcoming adversity, the power of representation, hope. People saw not just those students, but generations of struggle and achievement condensed into one image.
And it wasn't just a fleeting viral moment, was it? It led to something concrete.
It did. It directly sparked the creation of the 15 Whitecoats organization.
The 15 Whitecoats, named after that group.
Yes. And its mission is very clear, very focused.
What do they do?
They work to provide real, tangible support, representation, mentorship, scholarships, specifically aimed at underrepresented minority students who want to go into medicine.
Ah, so it's about creating that pipeline.
Exactly. It's about tackling that visualization gap, helping young kids of color actually see themselves in those white coats, making them feel deep down, yes, I belong here too. This is possible for me.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how much potential we might lose just because kids don't see people who look like them in certain roles.
It raises that important question, absolutely. How many potential doctors, scientists, leaders are missed?
So, Dr. Ledet today, he's living that mission himself, right?
He is. He's a practicing doctor, yes, but he's also very much an activist.
Speaking out.
Traveling the country, speaking about equity in medicine, diversity, mental health, using his platform.
And what's his core message, would you say, when he speaks to young people especially?
It seems to boil down to something really powerful and direct. You belong. You can do this. Your past does not define your future.
Simple but profound.
Very. So what does this all mean? When you pull back and look at the whole journey, a few things really stand out. One, that determination. It wasn't just like a personality trait. It was built through effort, small steps leading to big ones.
Right, turning curiosity into action.
Two, the incredible impact of those few kind people. That external belief, it wasn't a weakness to need it, it was a catalyst.
A spark, like you said.
Yeah, and finally, this unshakable faith in himself that seems to grow stronger by overcoming each barrier. And then, crucially, using that strength to build the support systems for others that maybe weren't there for him initially.
Creating the path as he walked it and then making it wider for others.
That's a great way to put it. Active empowerment.
It's just an extraordinary story.
Yeah.
Dr. Russell Ledet, from security guard to doctor to, well, a global inspiration. It really hammers home the power of resilience, doesn't it? And how one person's dream, pursued relentlessly, can create these ripples.
Huge ripples.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about. Dr. Ledet's story, it isn't just about his own amazing achievement, right? It's about how he actively went on to build the very representation, the support systems that he maybe wished he had earlier. He became the change. So the question for you listening is maybe twofold. First, how can you get better at spotting and maybe even empowering those few kind people in your own life, the ones who can offer that crucial encouragement? And maybe, even more importantly, how can you be that few kind person for someone else? How can you offer that bit of belief, that proof, that validation that might just help someone else start believing their own dream is within reach?